my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review today?
So, Dave, we are going back to 1992, and this has been chosen by our patron, Alec, and this is Bram Stoker's Dracula. So, Dave, have you ever seen this before?
I have not, Chris. I mean, 1992, I am about 16, and to watch this kind of movie, I just wasn't into it at all. Dracula, for me, was always the old Christopher Lee, you know, the Hammer horror movies, and, yeah, there was just something about this. Far too many other things to get interested when you're 16, Chris. But, having said that, I mean, there's a few scenes out of this that would have probably sparked my interest had I known they were there. But yeah, I don't know, I just didn't see this. It seemed like a bit of an arty-farty thing, and I just wasn't into it at all. But I knew of it. Of course, it was quite huge at the time. They were promoting it quite a lot on the TV, weren't they? Just advertising the fact it was on the cinema. But yeah, just never ever fancied it. How about yourself, Chris?
No, I'm the same as you, Dave. You know me, I'm not a horror fan at all. Even with some of these shoulder fucking inducing scenes that I may have liked when I was a kid, I genuinely wouldn't have watched this. It's not something that I'd have got into at all. So, I agree with you. I remember it being massive at the time. You know, like just it was everywhere. Because I was about same as you. I was about 14, going to maybe 15, and it was just so there. And I'm like you. Dracula for me always reminded me of Christopher Lee, late night, BBC One, BBC Two, and also even the Carry On film where they've got Dracula and like Frankenstein, all that sort of stupid things. I used to watch a lot of the Carry On films. So. Not a character I was that bothered in. And I'll be honest, actually, Dave, as we're talking, the one person who I remember as Dracula more than anything, there's two. There's Count Duckula, which we used to watch as a kid, but also, nice. Dave, Sesame Street. So that's probably my main introduction to Dracula as a character. But I always thought he was dated then when we were kids. So I don't think someone might remake it. And we've seen movies like that, and we've seen TV shows, even with like Lucifer and things like that, a different character. But you've got to bring them up to the modern age. So this at the time was just not in my wheelhouse at all.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because Dracula he's almost like a cuddly pop culture character now. I remember, Chris, at kind of junior school, they were doing a play. I think it was called like Dracula Spectacular or something like that. I don't think I ever actually saw it, but I just remember seeing those like flyers around the school and stuff. And yeah, it's just... Even in watching the Hammer horror movies, they weren't scary, were they? You know, they weren't like fucking Freddy Krueger or, you know, Friday the 13th or anything. So, yeah, it does feel like we missed the boat on Dracula actually being scary.
Yes. I agree with that. I agree. And I think what an interesting choice from Alec, Dave, because this is something completely out of the... left field, really, because I know you've tried to stitch with some horror films and we've done Scream and things like that, but this is something I don't think either of us would have picked this, and that's the great thing about the patrons, isn't it? Because we always say that, like Two Hands the other week, what a great movie, we never would have picked that. So I'm not saying this is a great movie, by the way, but I'm just saying what interesting movies we have to review from the patrons. Yeah. So I love it.
No, and it feels like, I mean, the cast is phenomenal, isn't it? Really, if you look back, and it feels like a movie that I should have watched. And so, yeah, it's good to actually sit down and watch it this time, and I can tick it off that I have watched that once.
Well, Dave, on that bombshell, shall we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
Here occurred the frightening and shocking history of Prince Dracula and the woman he loved.
I have crossed oceans of time to find you.
Ja, Dracula.
There's a sinister, darker side to him I find irresistible. I have never met any man with such a passion for life. He is unlike any man. What are you?
Vampires do exist. This one we fight, this one we face, can take on many forms. He is both young and old. He can appear as mist, as vapor, as the fog. And he can vanish at will.
My love.
The power of his evil desire has no end.
You've got to go to him. You've got to love him.
She is a willing recruit and devoted disciple. She is the devil's concubine.
Join me in eternal life.
Your salvation is his destruction.
I want to be what you are. I want to see what you see. I want to love what you love. Take me away from all this death.
Make no mistake, he must be stopped.
In 1492, Vlad the Impaler returns from a victory in his campaign against the Ottoman Empire to find his wife Elizabetha committed suicide after his enemies falsely reported his death. The priest tells him that his wife's soul is damned to hell for committing suicide. Enraged, Dracula desecrates the chapel and renounces God, declaring he will rise from the grave to avenge Elizabetha with all the powers of darkness. And then he stabs the chapel's stone cross with his sword and drinks the blood that pours from it. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, Dave, I respect Alec for picking this. I really do, and obviously there's plenty of my movies that people love to talk about and go, what the hell, the Burt Reynolds obsession, everything. But Alec, I've got to say, this is fucking terrible. It's fucking shit. It's like when we've reviewed the Comics in Motion stuff, and someone's gone, have you seen this different version
special?
Well, there's no need for that, Dave, right? Have you seen this third world fucking version of Spider-Man or something? It's like on a budget or something along them lines, something where it's like on YouTube and you're like, and for me, this is like a comedy. It's got some of the best actors of its time. Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman's a great actor. I always say about Keanu Reeves, Dave, don't I? You give him more than a couple of lines in a movie, you're fucked. It's like Arnie. I love Keanu in The Matrix, one of my favourite films ever. Arnie's one of my all-time heroes. You give him something complicated to talk about, fuck me. And I think you always do the best impression, but we're talking Dick Van Dyke levels of English accent here. It is fucking woeful. Keanu Reeves is awful. I don't think Winona Ryder's far behind him, but Keanu Reeves is terrible in this movie.
Yeah, give Keanu a few more than a few lines, and he struggles. Get him to do a fucking English accent. And it's just horrendous. I was just... There's some things where he's speaking to the coachman where he's like, I say, sir. Just like, oh, come on. It was almost parody levels. And, Chris, I've got to say, the hamminess of the acting and the accents across the board are terrible. Keanu, you know, sits on top of the tree, I think, but he's not on his own. I would say there's only Richard E. Grant and Cary Elwes who actually pull off the accents. I think fucking Gary Oldman's comedy Dracula accent is terrible. Winona Ryder. Anthony fucking Hopkins as Van Helsing. It is horrendous. The accents are just terrible. Just play with your own fucking accent. So, yeah, that surprised me. But that said, I do like the premise, because Vlad the Impaler, he was a real guy. You know, he did fight the Ottoman Empire off. You know, they were trying to take over Europe, and he was kind of fighting against them. And at the minute, Chris, I work with quite a lot of people who are based in Transylvania. And what I didn't know is, you know, prior to the First World War, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was bloody huge. But being a bunch of twats, we cut it all up after the First World War, and part of that was to carve off the Transylvania bit and put that in Romania. But they all speak Hungarian. They're all really Hungarian there. So I find it fascinating, the history of that particular region, because we don't get taught any of that shit in schools, do we? And basically, it's like the equivalent. They've stuck fucking Henry VIII as this fucking horror character. It's almost similar. Vlad the Impaler's a fucking legend over there. You know, and we've just, in the West, we've turned him into this creature of the night. So, yeah, you never saw shit like this in the Hammer horror movies, did you? You know, where he's denouncing God and everything. You've got the blood spurting out the cross. So, I quite like the premise, but the accents were terrible. And straight away, that just sort of took me out of it. It was almost like, what is it? I think there's one called Dracula Dead and Loving It, with Leslie Nielsen. And it just reminded me of that. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. It's terrible.
It's awful, isn't it? I just remember when he's old and he's got the big hair and everything, he just takes it off like a hat. It's a stupid thing to remember. But, yeah, it just reminded me of that it was a pure parody.
It is, and I think, and that's why I was joking about, you know, the Count off Sesame Street, because you've got Keanu Reeves reminds me of when they do a really over-the-top exaggerate, I think they said it's you, English accent in The Simpsons. When it was Simpsons was good, and you get an English guy come on who'd just be Dick Van Dyke and go, all right, everyone, how are you doing? You know, and it'd be really over-the-top, and it'd not like that guy, I mean, it wasn't English, but the one who sold the monorail, and you'd have, like, the guy at the side, the English guy with, like, a performing monkey or something stupid, you know, and he'd have a proper exaggerated English accent. Or on, like, Family Guy, it's like that, and you're right, Gary Oldman's like, oh, this is terrible, even though that sounds like Arnie Day. But it is really...
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. I will take your blood, I will eat your blood. But it is because, he reminds me of, and fair play for 1992, but the way that Dracula looks in, like, the later on, you know the Emperor in sort of The Rise of Skywalker, when he starts coming back to being the Emperor, doesn't he? He's getting the power and raised there at the end. Spoiler alert, guys. And his head just fucking goes massive, done it like that. He just kept... for some reason, I kept thinking, fuck me, he looks like the Emperor. Now, it's not a knock on this movie, because this was done well before then, 30 years almost before, but... I just think it's terrible. And what got me more than anything is, so we get all this stuff and we get this back and forth. Keanu Reeves is there, he goes to stay with him, doesn't it? And then it does turn into a proper Chris Phelps, I'm going to throw my shoulder out as a teenager movie, because I would have been fucking pulling one off all over this movie as a kid. But Keanu Reeves is having the time of his life.
Makes you wonder if being a vampire is that bad, doesn't it? I'm with you, Chris. I had no idea there were scenes like this in it. But this movie, at certain points, is a bit fucking sexy. So, you know, he goes there, like I say, Keanu Reeves goes there, And the bit as well that made me laugh, he's having this kind of civil conversation, and then he says something out of turn. And, you know, Dracula, like, puts a fucking knife up against him kind of thing and starts threatening him. It's like, maybe it's at that point you say, yeah, it's been lovely, thank you very much, I'm going to leave now. But no, he sticks around, and then, you know, Dracula's brides. I did say this, Chris. I do remember from the old Hammer horror, you know, some of the Dracula brides were quite saucy. And, yeah, he seems to be getting on a... What is it, Chris, when there's, like, 3 of them? It's not a menage a trois, is it?
It's a fucking lucky bastard. That's what it is.
Catherine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'll have to drink blood and walk the earth at night. Yeah, it's all right. Come on, let's get it on.
yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's aged very well as well, because some of the scenes in that remind me like, and I don't like these sort of stuff, but like Tales of the Crypt, or is it Tales of the Unexpected? You know, when you've got that Vaseline gleam across the screen, you know, like late 80s stuff like that. I know there were TV shows, but a lot of the settings are really jarring for me. And also, like, you know, Winona Ryder's not good in it at all, you know, and I tell you who's bad in it, Dave, and he's a great actor, and I know his stock was massive around this time, but I don't think Anthony Hopkins is good as Van Helsing at all. I mean, I love the Hugh Grant movie with Kate Beckinsale, totally different take on Van Helsing. That's a great movie. I think I've only seen it once, but I loved it years ago. He's fucking rubbish in it, and I'm just like, I remember sat there and I wasn't clock watching some of the bits in this movie, my jaw's on the floor. I was like, holy fuck, this movie is held in such high esteem. And I apologise, Alec, because he might be fucking throwing his fucking phone at the screen or punching his mobile as he's listening. Sorry, pal, but I just didn't like it at all. And I thought it seems to meander from one thing to another. I can't, not that I can't follow the story, but I'm like, but why? I mean, Keanu Reeves is basically going into the lion's pit, isn't he? You know, like, what he's, and I know he's aging and stuff, but it's really bizarre.
Yeah, but I guess he you know, Dracula isn't a thing. People don't know about vampires and whatever, I guess, at this point. But I didn't quite follow why he went there in the first place. But then, you know, he's kind of going out with Mina, who is, you know, basically the reincarnation of Elizabetha. So yes. You just kind of have to go with that, don't you? You have to believe in reincarnation, not just vampires. But then he seems to be kept, you know, kept in check. He's like a prisoner there, isn't he? I think the thing you say about Anthony Hopkins, I've got to, you know, reluctantly agree with you. I thought he was crap, but I think it's the accent again. You know, Anthony Hopkins is a great actor, isn't he? So I think the fact that I'm just not buying him is probably more to do with the accent than his particular performance. But I mean, trying not to shit over it completely, I thought the costumes were good, Chris. You know, it obviously spent quite a lot of money on this. How much was it? A budget of 40 million. Made 216 in the box office. So, you know, it's commercial success. Well. And like you say, with the kind of Vaseline smear over the lens kind of thing, it did look glossy. I tell you what, Chris, the other bit, as well as Keanu's little bit of action there, the other bit that shocks me a little bit was, you know, you have Lucy, played by Sadie Frost, who seems to be betrothed to Lord Arthur Holmwood, played by Cary Elwes, and she sort of gets a bit, you know, hot for Dracula, and then she goes off to meet him, and then you see quite a graphic scene, don't you, where I thought it was a werewolf. It looked like a werewolf was shagging her.
Someone somewhere's got a dodgy search history, Dave, I tell you.
It just wasn't fucking... I wasn't, like, expecting it, you know, for it to be so in your face. But I think it was supposed to be Dracula, wasn't it? Because when the what looks like a werewolf shows up. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a whole vampires and werewolves thing. You mentioned Kate Beckinsale. I did quite like the Underworld series.
Yes.
Where you've got the, vampires versus the werewolves kind of thing. I thought, oh, it's going to go in that direction, but I don't think it did. It was just apparently vampires. Well, I mean, I guess shape-shifting is all part of vampire lore, isn't it? So, it's part of that.
Yeah, and I'd tell you what made me pissed, Dave. So, this is set in, late 1900s.
Late 1800s?
1800s.
What, like the 1990s?
Yeah, sorry. Late 1800s. So, what I love is when Gary Oldman, he's got, this long hair and he's dressed... None of the men, I was looking in the background, none of the men, and he's on the street there, none of the men are dressed like him. And he looks like fucking John Lennon. He's even got John Lennon tinted glasses. Now, forgive me, but I don't fucking think they had tinted glasses in the 1897 when this is fucking supposed to be thing. I was like, I don't believe this for a minute. There may have been glasses, Dave, of some form, but not fucking John Lennon glasses. And he stands out like a sore thumb. And it's like when Blade levers that cop... on the street, and nobody says anything, and he hammers him on the bonnet, the boot, sorry, and just twats him up a bit, and then grabs him and sort of kidnaps him, and nobody says anything. Nobody's questioning this guy talking to him and all around. It's like he looks completely different. Them years ago, they literally, I know it is Dracula, but they would have burned him on the stake. They'd have been like, who the fuck's this guy? Is he part of the circus? That's how they thought. Then anyone who was different or extra.
Extra look a little bit like the child catcher, doesn't he?
But yeah, it
was fucking creepy as well. So where he sees, I think he sees Mina, doesn't he? Across the room, and he's like, see me. See me. It's like the Count from Sesame Street. But fucking creepy bastard. Yeah, I agree. He does sort of stand out a bit there. But I think the aesthetic of it, the way it looks, I actually quite like. I don't think it is bad. And like you say, the people walking around in the background, I think you just have to get over that as being a kind of relic of the 90s. But yeah, I do think that just the way it's shot and everything, it looks like an expensive movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, them sort of scenes do, definitely. I agree with that. And I think with the story, we get sort of like this, it's towards like the middle three-quarter part, it's a lot to do with Van Helsing, isn't it? So Anthony Hopkins and his crew are going around getting people, getting like the vampires, getting the demons, and I love the way that he can reverse things by just saying like, basically prayers. He's got the cross, Dave. The cross means everything. I've never bought that. I fucking grew up a Catholic, you know what I mean? So it's like, they always used to say that, right, we're going to get a priest and there's an exorcism. I know people in my family from Ireland who've got priests in because they think the house is haunted and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think I believe that for a minute that a priest can reverse that, because usually priests are fucking pissed, Dave, anyway, so it doesn't... And that's from my personal experience, but no others, by the way. I'm not saying anything.
Walking a treacherous road here, aren't we? Hey, fucking hell, Chris. So, not to go from priest to this, but fucking Boris the twat. You see, he pulled out the Jimmy Savile defence the other day.
I watched it live.
What a fucking dick. It's all right for us to throw in a bit of Savile as a joke, but you don't fucking do that, like, in the Houses of Parliament.
No. And I think as well, though, Dave, there has been this sort of... Because my dad's just so fucking ridiculous. He'll read one article and just go with it. And look, don't say anything, because you're going to say that's me, I know, but when it... but this stuff, that is not true anyway. A lot of people have said that's not even true. He was the one who wanted him prosecuted. But there has been this thing with Starmer underneath saying that he let it all go and everything. Someone somewhere did, because that fucker got away with it for years, didn't he? So everyone knew he was doing it. There's even that Have I Got News For You thing where he sat there and he even admits to it on camera. Anyway,
we all look a little bit silly, don't we? There,
yeah.
He was fucking laughing at all of us, but it just reminded me there.
Yeah, and one last thing. I know it's a touch subject, that, but I told you my cousin did the Land's End to John O'Groats bike ride. He's done it twice, and they did it for Christie's for cancer research and that. The first one was about 13, 14 years ago. And when you get up to Scotland, Jimmy Savile lived right next to the, it'd be John O'Groats, won't it, in Scotland, is it? And he when they're up there, he stands in his window, or you used to, and he'd have pictures with people. My cousin's got a picture, the two of them who were cycling, my uncle, who was like the guy protects him in the vehicle. And Jimmy Savile said, I have a picture, it's fine, comes out, he pulls out a massive katana knife, and he's there with this katana knife above his head. Well, my cousin and that and his mate are absolutely fucked, and he was proper arsey, and this was before it all come out, obviously, but that was his last sort of claim to fame. He used to come out and sort of take these ridiculous pictures with people, like he'd done the run, because apparently he never run the marathon. He used to get in a car, he'd start it, run a couple of miles, get in a car, and then you see him at the end. So that was, and I don't even, have to doubt that revelation, because he was an absolute twat. But there you go. Bit of a daft story.
Yep, but getting back to Dracula,
which is worse, Dave. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, like you say, the whole priest thing—that's what caused this whole shit, wasn't it?
Yes.
The threat of going to hell and everything. Or Elizabetha was going to be in hell. Chris, Winona Ryder. I did have a bit of a crush on Winona Ryder around this time. I think she was in lots and lots of things. But, again, the English accent is terrible. But beyond just her performance, the way it's written, basically Dracula, says, how they're long-lost lovers kind of thing, and she just buys it very, very quickly. And he's this creature of the night kind of thing, and it's just, I remember that line, "Take me away from all this death," and it's just like, oh my god, that is so terrible. It is fucking terrible. But yeah, I didn't like the way she just bought it, and straight away she's like, all right, let's fucking turn me into a vampire then, and let's do this.
Yeah, because she does, doesn't she? She gets, and I think you're right. You talk about Winona Ryder, Dave. For me, I always remember in Mermaids with Cher. Christina Ricci, I think it was. That's a good film with Bob Hoskins. But more than anything, Dave, she's actually related to Richard Madeley, isn't she? Because she loves fucking doing a bit of shoplifting in her time. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I always remember her for. She was tarnished, wasn't she, for robbing some fucking Prosecco from a shop. But no, I think you're right, joking aside. It goes a bit off, and like you say, all of a sudden, she's just like, fuck it. Come and bite me. Come and have some of this. And Van Helsing's there, isn't he? And he's trying to... And I say Van Helsing reluctantly, Dave, because Anthony Hopkins is terrible. Even he gets to fucking snog her, doesn't he? Which is fucking ridiculous. He puts a fucking 50p coin on her head, and that sort of brings her out of her stupor. She's had this bite on her. Yeah, I found it really difficult to follow the story at the end. I must admit, that last third of the movie was difficult. And every time we see Keanu Reeves, he's getting fucking greyer and greyer, Dave. I think he's about as grey as me by the end of the movie. But he doesn't look any older. He's still young. Yeah. What is he, about 25 here or something like that? He's still 25, but with an absolute, proper Gary Lineker levels of grey. Proper grey. So he keeps popping up in the movie all the time. I just kept thinking with him, Dave, I know it's bad. I love Mary Poppins as a girl. You can come up through it. They're going, step in time. They're fucking chimney sweep or something like that. It's just silly. It's a really silly movie. And I don't buy Anthony Hopkins, because he must have been about late 40s, 50. He doesn't even look like he could go toe-to-toe with Dracula. He just looks like an old guy who's just, I don't know, it just doesn't, he doesn't sit well with me at all. In Silence of the Lambs, he's the ultimate, one of the greatest baddies ever, some of the greatest lines. But in this is literally riding off that reputation of that movie, I think.
Yeah, I keep harping on about it, but I do think it's the accents. Yes. We know what these people sound like. I mean, you have to say, though, bloody hell, Keanu Reeves, good-looking bloke. But like you say, you can't just stick this is like peak Keanu Reeves, isn't it? And you can't just stick some grey hair on him and say, look, he's aged. But I've got to agree with you. I found the last sort of act a bit tricky to follow, and I don't know if it's because it was tricky to follow, or I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm not really into this. I'm not honestly enjoying it. I kind of know how it's going to end. You know, Dracula's going to either die or like look like he's dead, but then it's going to be like, oh, is he really dead? Yeah, and I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm not buying it. I tell you, the other thought that I had though, Chris, is I don't know whether it's the original novel. I've never actually read that, or it's just this movie. But all I kept thinking was, were the Victorians just massively fucking sexually repressed? In fact, I think I know the answer to that. But basically, this whole kind of story and the way it's acted out, particularly with, what's her name? The Sadie Frost character, Lucy.
Yeah.
You know, when she's turning to be a vampire, she's basically having an orgasm on the bed, Chris.
Yeah.
And it's all, I was trying to think, like, is vampirism like some kind of thing to ward off, you know, is it a cautionary tale to, like, you know, it's like vampirism is like an STD kind of thing. It's like, don't have sex, you know, or invite these tall, dark, handsome men into your room or whatever, because basically they'll suck your blood. And I don't know, it was a lot more sexual than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's almost like you watch stuff, like I've seen stuff, you know, Sam loves all these period dramas and that, but you watch stuff on like Henry VIII, Dave. Now, Henry VIII, as we know, he created the Church of England because he couldn't get remarried. He wanted to get married to, I think it was Catherine of Aragon or whoever it was, his second wife, and he created the Church of England because the Catholic Church won't recognise him getting remarried. Now, when you see the pictures of him, that bloke was not in good health. He looked like a little stump, didn't he? I'm not saying he couldn't get any because of the power, but whenever you watch the shows, he's a young, fit lad. And I'm sure at some point he may have been getting his action. Elizabeth, the stuff on Elizabeth, she was supposed to be an awful person, but when you watch him on these things, I know they've got to glamorise them. They're absolutely fucking sex mad, aren't they? It's like, I don't even know if you even should say this, Dave, but I remember watching a fucking hell, right? I remember watching a movie. I was about 15. I may have been handed it from my cousin, a VHS, Dave, that I did sort of keep hidden under my bed, you know, in my secret compartment of, you know, shall we say, extracurricular movies. And I was obsessed with this movie where they were in the sort of 1800s stuff. You know, we have the bustiers on and they've got like the proper, what are they called, where they pull them in, the bloody, they pull the waist in. What are they called, Dave?
Corsets.
Corsets, you know, and the boobs are all like massive and just.
Yeah.
Oh, I was obsessed as a kid with this fucking thingy. So I remember watching an RTL special. My mum and dad went to bed and they were, you know, making sure that my brothers and sisters didn't come down. So I had all bases covered in case you heard that creak on the stairs. And it was the, you know, the lederhosen outfits. I was always obsessed with that girl in National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Well, this is what Helga would have been wearing, I imagine.
Definitely Helga. This is where this comes from. It was an RTL one, like a softcore one about 11 at night, and Helga's there with the proper corset on, the lederhose, and so that was my thing. So I used to be like, oh, this is fucking-tastic, Dave. But when you went to these countries, no one wore them. But there you go. Anyway, this is nothing to do with Dracula, but I agree that they were always depicted as that they had nothing else to do other than fucking shag. That's all these, and everything around them was like, let's have threesomes, foursomes, like you said, whatever. And then it was like, oh, in fact, let's just bite a few people as well. I don't understand that direction of it. It's all that sort of lust in it, that carnal lusting of, I'm going to bite you in the neck, but I'm going to give you a good fucking scene to before I do that. I found that really weird, and it's almost like a cop-out because there's not a lot of story to the movie.
Not a lot that's original, is there? I mean, like I say, with all the Hammer stuff, I guess, you know, it's just like modernising that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, you get an all-star cast, you're guaranteed a box office return. So, look, I think, and I've seen a few comments out there already, just we'd mentioned, like on the Comics in Motion Discord chat, we sort of said that we were doing this. I think a few people were saying they really liked this. I think there's a lot of people who have good memories of it. IMDb gives it 7.4, so that is probably in the upper echelons of movies that we've watched, Chris. So I guess it's just, there's two things. It's not really our sort of movie. You know, it's basically a period drama with a bit of vampirism in it.
Yeah.
And also, we're watching a movie that is now 30 fucking years old for the first time. You know, 1992, it's 2022 now. So, you know, these couple of things on their own, it's going to be very rare, isn't it? We go back and we watch something like this. So, if it was like set in modern day being 92, and, you know, it was something gritty and we were watching it for the first time, then it could hold up. But having the whole fantasy kind of supernatural element to it, it just hasn't aged well for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I'm with you. So, Dave, have you got any more to talk about it, or do you want to get into the scores?
Let's go. Hey there guys, this is Editor Dave, just popping myself in here. It seems in our excitement, we completely forgot to score Bram Stoker's Dracula. So, what we thought we'd do is we'd do it retrospectively. Now, Chris is busy, having a well-deserved break, so he is, though, joining us from poolside. So, are you okay over there, Chris? I'm alright, kid. Nice one, nice one. So, Chris, would you like to share your thoughts on the movie? Dave. This film was fucking shit, right? Keanu Reeves, he's basically like Ronaldo. I love him, but you stick him in the wrong role and he's rubbish. Alright, you got me. That wasn't the real Chris. But here is the real Chris, actually from poolside.
Well, Dave, I think that Dracula was the biggest load of shit I have seen in a long time. The acting was hammy, the accents were even worse, and it had no story. And how the hell it's had the praise it has, I do not know, but it was fucking dog shit. So for me, it's going all the way to the bottom, older on, never want to see it again. I'm sorry, I know it was a pick, but it's fucking awful. So there you go, that's my opinion.
Now, probably sticking to form, I'm not going to be quite as harsh as Chris is there, but I do not think it was a good movie at all, which you probably gathered from the main episode. I just think you probably had to watch this one at the time. I could see how, you know, if you've grown up on those Hammer horror Dracula movies, that this is something a little bit different, a little bit more adult, and if it just caught you at that right time, I can see how it'd have a soft spot in your heart. But having never watched it and having no nostalgic connection to this movie, I just don't think it's very good. I think Chris is spot on there with saying that the acting is not great from some fantastic actors as well, so I can only put it down to the direction, and the accents were just horrendous across the board, and it just really takes you out of the movie. I think Gary Oldman is probably the only one who really stands out for me, who you know, it was a fairly iconic role for him. And so he probably elevated himself to a different level around that time. So, yeah, I think for me, it's not quite an Alderaan, but it is an Elm Street. Just not one of my favourites. So it just is what it is. I'm glad I watched it, but I don't think I'll be watching this again anytime soon. Now we'll hand you back to the main episode.
So, Dave, I'll go first. Again, big thanks to Alec. You know, whatever you're thinking of, we appreciate you suggesting this one, mate. It's been an experience anyway, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. So, if you want to support us, guys, like Alec, get over to Patreon, patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. If you want to follow us on social media, at VHS Strikes Back. And if you want to email us, the thevhsstrikesback@gmail.com. We have got an email, which we're going to read out in a second, but I just want to thank all our patrons first. So, roll call of honour is Mr. Tony Farina, Brent from the Cinema Chat podcast, John Hammond, Blake, Maths, Jax, Herb, Lucky Lulu Green, Kent Gustafson, Dylan, Heath, Matt Bates, Carl, Mark Pearson, Paul, Alec and Tim. So thank you very, very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Now, Dave, we had an amazing email, didn't we?
Yeah, and we don't often get them in for the VHS. But when we do, we always forget to read them out as well. but occasionally, you know, we'll get them and we'll remember to read them out. So thanks to everyone who's ever emailed in, and we've just been shit and forgot about it. But it always is absolutely fantastic. And I think, well, actually, I'm going to keep my powder dry. I'll let you read the email out and we'll discuss it a bit after that.
Okay, mate. Well, this one is from Matt Green, and it just simply says, what a podcast. Hi, guys. Just wanted to send you a message regarding the VHS Strikes Back podcast. Gotta say, guys, it's the best podcast out there. Got to agree with him, Dave. Listen to you guys all day at work. Got a bit of a backlog to catch up on, as I have only just discovered you both, but keep up the amazing work. Top banter from you both too. You have me in stitches every time the mention of Lauren Avedon comes up. Being a big fan myself, so I can totally relate. See, Dave, Matt's my type of guy. He understands. Listening to you guys brought back so many fond memories. I've even spent £42 on a Blockbuster scented candle. Where the hell is that, Dave? We need to get that. Just to be back in the 90s on my N64, and life was good again. Haha. Cheers, guys, and good luck. I'm looking forward to hearing more content from you, Matt. Well, Dave, that is an amazing email. Absolutely brilliant.
It is. It is fantastic. And, you know, we sometimes forget, don't we? Because we do this for fun. And if basically it was only me and you listening, I think we'd still do it. But it's just fantastic to get feedback back like that. And I'm sure, you know, there's other people who listen to it, you know, and get 5 minutes in and like, fuck this shit. But it's great, you know, to get those new listeners. We've never kind of aggressively promoted VHS Strikes Back, have we?
No.
You know, but, you know, the download numbers, of all the different podcasts that we do, you can see that there's a steady trend upwards. So if we go back right from episode 1, you can see that it's trending upwards and upwards. Which none of the other podcasts, like the reality one is the one we get the most downloads. But we always get spikes when certain series are going on, and then when they finish, it tails off again, doesn't it? Whereas this is just, you know, more people just kind of accidentally discover us and then kind of stick around, and I just find that so humbling, but pretty awesome.
No, it's amazing. Honestly, it really is. You're right, Dave. Because we get a lot of emails with the reality one, and I've had some recently, and most of them are just abusing me because of my big gob. So that
last episode, that tickled
was amazing.
Me for about a week.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You love it because I'm such a big gob, as everyone knows. It's just that. Fucking Chris, you shut your mouth, and you just piss. As soon as we get an email, I always get that text. Oh, mate, we've had an email in the. I'm like, oh, fuck off! I know
you might want to have a look at it.
Yeah. You never get abuse, and I do. I always get.
I'm sure once
you did. Yeah, you did actually. Yeah, someone had a right pop at you. Actually, sorry, we was one.
I can't remember what that was about.
I read it out and it was glorious, Dave. It's the only time when I was pissing myself and I didn't get it. It was usually me, big gob, because I'm so ridiculous with some of my statements. But no, it's so humbling, guys, honestly.
I tell you what it was, Chris. Right, so brief tangent. Right, the Bachelor franchise. It's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? And we kind of I guess our niche is we watch this shit, but we mercilessly take the piss out of it while simultaneously kind of loving it as well. Whereas if you listen to a lot of the podcasts, it's just about how great it is and they're celebrating it. Whereas we're like, this is fucking nonsense. And one of the most ridiculous things about that franchise is basically you've got one dude and then a harem of women. And then what they do, because there's quite a strong kind of religious influence over, you know, the people who are on it, the production of it and everything. And, you know, what they'll say is, one of my non-negotiables, one of my things, you know, red flags or whatever, is cheating. If there's cheating involved, I just think it's the most despicable thing in the world. And then they have a bit of a snog, and then he goes off and fucking snogs some other woman, and it's like, oh yeah, cheating. And I think the email, and I was calling this out, and the email was like, it's ridiculous. This is the Bachelor rules. Something like that. So, you know, even the one bit of abuse I had, I'm not sure. I'm not fucking having it, Chris. You know, I don't. Yeah. I don't just go. I mean, you're very good at diffusing the situation, but if you do, most of the people who listen to VHS are never going to listen to the reality one. But if you go back and listen to the last Bachelor episode that we did, so Chris and Dave's reality TV cast, just fast forward it right to the end, and it is one of the most glorious emails I think that has ever been committed to the internet.
I think, is it episode 3 of The Bachelor? Series 26, episode 3? Is the last one we've done, I think? Or episode, let me investigate. I'll investigate right now, because as we record this, we'll probably have done another one, won't we? So it's just in case
we're a bit ahead on this one, aren't we?
Yeah, so let me investigate. I'll tell you right now when it is. Episode 4, so it's Bachelor, season 26, episode 4, and it's entitled, We Hit the Gridiron for Some Shrimps. So there you go. Don't ask, guys. Just listen to the end bit if you want to listen to me getting absolutely roasted, but there you go. Amazing,
Twice.
Yeah, twice. And you fucking piss yourself laughing, because the reason that's come about is we've got, you know, a mutual friend, haven't we, Lauren, chatting to us, isn't she, in social media, and we call frenemies, so she's always going for me, and she's always bigging you up, saying, like, you know, I wish Chris wouldn't speak, or I wish you wouldn't interrupt her, and she's always giving me abuse. And Dave alluded that the abuse I got on episode 3 of someone calling me out, I thought it was Lauren, because it usually is Lauren. She usually jumps on me and gives me a right, and says, you're wrong there, you don't know anything, and she gives me a right load of abuse. And then it wasn't even Lauren, and I went at her at the end dinner going, Lauren, and she's one of our Patreons as well. And you were like,
I don't even think you called her out by name.
No, I did.
It's just obvious.
Did
you?
On the Patreon bit, I went, and thank you, Lauren, like that. And at the end you went, you do know, Chris, it wasn't Lauren. After we recorded, as only a fucking mate would do, and I'm like, you bastard, you absolute bastard. I knew it was coming.
It's like, the bit that I always think it to, or the reference, I always think back to Porky's, you know, when the whole shower scene, and the one guy's got his fucking knob through the shower, and his mate's like, oh yeah, wait there, you know, she's coming for it, oh, she's almost there. It just reminded me of that, to be honest. It's like, yep, I'm not saying anything here.
You bastard.
But then, Chris, it all revolves around your hatred of this particular host, Caitlin, because that was the original thing. You were going after her for a couple of episodes, and then someone from South Africa just absolutely fucking launched for you. And we've had, like, cutting emails on the reality cast, like I say, because of the way we approach it. We take the piss out of it. And normally it finishes off with, you know, with all of that said, I love what you do, and, you know, keep up the good work, but don't do whatever I've just lambasted you for. But not this one, Chris. This one just kept going. And, I'm going to have to listen to it again myself.
Right, well, anyway, on that bombshell, Dave, what have we got next week, my friend?
Excellent question. Chris, we have got one of my favourites going back in the day. Because, certain films, they're made almost for you in that time. And this one was a movie that's kind of spawned out of Saturday Night Live. We didn't really know these household names before, but being that Gen X kind of rocker back in the day, I just absolutely love this. And this is Wayne's World.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning.
Just outside of Chicago.
Galileo.
In the basement of this house.
Wayne's World, party time, excellent.
Broadcast history is about to be made.
Extreme close-up.
I want you to find out who these guys are and where they do their show.
What is this?
Mr. Vanderhoff, this is your audience.
It's two chimps on a Davenport in a basement.
Here I am with the contract for $5,000.
Excuse me?
Now they're on their way.
No way.
Way to fame.
Will you still love me when I'm in my carbohydrate sequin jumpsuit? Young girls in white cotton panties, bloated, purple, dead on a toilet face?
To fortune.
Contractor, no. I will not bow to any sponsor.
And to babe heaven.
What do you do if every time you see this one incredible woman, you think you're gonna hurl?
I say hurl. If you blow chunks and she comes back, she's yours. If you spew and she bolts, it was never meant to be.
Okay.
It's Wade.
This is definitely the type of place I'm gonna get when I move out of my parents' house.
It's Garth.
I love you, God.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
It's a movie.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Wayne's World.
Hi, Wayne.
It just might be the greatest motion picture ever made.
Are you mental?
Beelzebub has the devil put aside for me. For me.
Wayne's World.
Dave, I've got to be honest, I love this movie. Obviously, we've got the Bohemian Rhapsody thing to talk about when we get into it next week, but I love this miles more than Austin Powers, and I give Austin Powers a great score. There will be no heel turn on this one, Dave, Mike Myers film again. I will not be doing that to you, but I love this movie, exactly for the same reason as you, Dave. I wasn't necessarily a massive rocker at the time, but it just caught me, and there's some proper comedy bits, so I can't wait to go through that one.
I can't wait. I've not watched it for years. I'm with you. I absolutely loved it as well. I tell you, there's a few bits that I remember, but I remember watching this at the cinema and just absolutely crying at certain bits. And there's one stupid bit where they're doing this whole stealth thing, and the camera sort of pans back to Garth, and he's like, guys, I just fell on my keys. And it's stupid, but because you know how much stuff like that, or like standing on Lego or something, how much it hurts. I was just absolutely crying. And so, but there is a slight word of caution here as well. So my eldest, a lot of the time, kids these days, they just watch YouTube, don't they? This is proper fucking old man radio, isn't it? But they'll watch YouTube, but she's going through a phase of like watching like Saturday Night Live clips and stuff.
Yeah.
But more recent Saturday Night Live. And I said, yeah, I'll put this on. I'll put on a bit of Wayne's World Saturday Night Live. So I put it on, and it went like about fucking 5 to 7 minutes without being funny at all. Like, there was just nothing funny that happened. To me, even. Never mind my daughter, I'm trying to say, look, this is going to be really funny. And it was just shit. In the end, I just said, oh, no, it's all right. You put your version on. So I'm hoping. There's so many other things and so many other, like, catchphrases that came out of this. I'm sure it's much funnier than that particular random Saturday Night Live clip.
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, Dave, it's time to go, mate. So I will see you next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's odd.
We came, we saw, we kicked his ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on, ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Yeah, maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I've seen you in 6 months.